of musical arrangement, dreaming sugar plums and Tchaikovsky. She sleeps like a child, but he's carried the thought anyway, from bedroom to sunroom, making a production of being careful, a show for himself. He does this, has always done this since leaving the village, little open-air performances for an audience of one, or for two, him and his cameraman, that silent, invisible cameraman who stole away beside him all those decades ago in the darkness before daybreak, with the ocean beside, and who has followed him every day, everywhere since, quietly filming his life, or the life of the man who he wishes to be and who he left to become. In this scene, a bedroom scene, the considerate husband, who doesn't make a peep as he slips from the bed, moving the covers aside noiselessly, setting each foot down separately, taking pains not to wake his unwakeable wife, not to get up too quickly, thus unsettling the mattress, crossing the room very quietly, closing the door without sound, and down the hall in this manner, through the door, into the courtyard, where she clearly can't hear him but still on his toes, across the short heated walkway from master wing to living wing, where he pauses for a moment to admire his house. It's a brilliant arrangement, this one-story compound, by no means novel, but functional and elegantly planned. Simple courtyard in the middle, with a door at each corner to the living, dining, master and guest bedroom wings. He sketched it on a napkin in a hospital cafeteria in his 3rd year of residency, at 31 years old. At 48, bought the plot off a Neapolitan patient, a rich land speculator with mafia ties and type 2 diabetes, who moved to Accra because it reminds him of Naples in the 50s, he says, the wealth pressed against want, fresh sea air against sewage, filthy poor against filthier rich at the beach. At 49, found a carpenter who was willing to build it, the only Ghanaian who didn't balk at putting a hole in a house. The carpenter was 70 with cataracts and a six-pack. He finished in 2 years, working impeccably and alone. At 51, moved his things in, but found it too quiet. At 53, took a second wife. Elegantly planned. Now he stops at the top of the square between doorways, where the blueprint is obvious, where he can see the design, and considers it as the painter must consider the painting, or the mother the newborn, with confusion and awe that this thing which sprang to life there inside the mind or body has made it here to the outside, a life of its own. Slightly baffled. How did it get here, from in him to in front? Of course he knows. With the proper application of the appropriate instruments, it's the same for the painter, the mother, the amateur architect. But still, it's a wonder to look at. His house. His beautiful, functional, elegant house, which appeared to him whole, the whole ethos, in an instant, like a fertilized zygote spinning inexplicably out of darkness in possession of an entire genetic code, an entire logic. The 4 quadrants, a nod to symmetry, to his training days, to graph paper, to the compass, perpetual journey, perpetual return, etc., etc. A grey courtyard, not green, polished rock, slabs of slate, treated concrete, a kind of rebuttal to the tropics, to home. So a homeland reimagined, all the lines clean and straight, nothing lush, soft or verdant. In one instant, all there, now here. Decades later, on a street in old Adjoa, a crumbling suburb of colonial mansions, whitewashed stucco, stray dogs. It is the most beautiful thing he has ever created. Except Taiwo, he thinks suddenly. A shock of a thought. Whereon Taiwo herself, with black thicket for eyelash, and carved rock for cheekbone, and gemstone for eyes, her pink lips the same colour as the inside of conch shells, impossibly beautiful, an impossible girl, sort of appears there in front of him, interrupting his performance of the considerate husband, then goes up in smoke. It is the most beautiful thing.